Aaron Rodgers has arrived as a New York Jet, and his first day was nothing short of brilliant. And well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Y2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So, Wednesday was Aaron Rodgers' first day in Florham Park wearing the Jets logo. I gotta tell you, I'm not a man who gets moved to tears very easily. Okay, it takes a lot unless onions are involved. But I came close, very close, when Aaron Rodgers walks into Florham Park wearing that Jets hoodie. That's when it really started to feel real. After all the announcements, after all the rumors, even after, Schefter, Rappaport, and Pelissero saying the trade was going through, to actually see him wearing the Jets logo where it wasn't photoshopped was a very surreal moment. I'm glad I had a private office because, man, I was doing some very serious fist pumping at that point. But then we went on to the press conference at 2 o'clock, and a subsequent interview or two that he did after that. And you know what? To me, there have been really two primary criticisms of Aaron Rodgers that I've seen coming into this. Number one is the age and that he could be injury prone. Well, let's just address this one right now. He hasn't missed a game in 5 years due to injury. And if you go back to his entire 18-year career with the Packers, he's only missed 16 games due to injury. And again, none of those were in the last 5 years. So just because he's about to have a 4 in front of his age in about 8 months, it doesn't mean he's injury prone. The guy takes care of his body, and in the NFL, he's been very lucky, very fortunate, very blessed, whatever you choose to say. All right, so that's one. But one of the other main criticisms that I saw was his ability to handle the media, being that he is, he kind of marches to the beat of his own drum. He's not a bad guy. He's not like he's a criminal or anything like that. He just has certain opinions. He has certain beliefs. And in the society that we live in, where we're, let's be honest, very divided, and a lot of people like to flame anybody who has a different opinion than them. A lot of people wonder, can he handle the New York media, as if that has anything to do with what happens on the field. Okay, well, if you watch this press conference, he played them like Nero played the fiddle. Or Charlie Daniels played the fiddle. Name any great fiddle player you want to. But I was absolutely thrilled. I mean, when you think about Jets press conferences, you tend to think of the bad ones. You think about Adam Gase with his eyes going everywhere. You think about Rich Kotite his first day saying, "My philosophy is this. I'm not a genius. I don't have all the answers." And he's basically been in witness protection ever since the Jets fired him, 25 years ago now. But going through the press conference and through his interview on the Michael Kay show, there were 5 quotes that I highlighted above all the others that tell me where Aaron Rodgers' mindset is, what his goals are, and what he wants to do, and why he came here. So let's go through all 5 of those quotes. I'll give you a brief reaction to each one. Quote number 1. And this was from the Michael Kay show when he was asked, after all you've done in your career, why do you need this? And his response, I don't need it, I want it. I love the game so much, and the opportunity that was presented to play for the New York Jets, I couldn't pass it up. That quote, that was his first question that he was answered on the Kay show. And I thought the response was absolutely brilliant. I mean, the decisiveness that he said there. He knows what he's accomplished. His legacy is intact. 4 MVPs, won a Super Bowl, absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer. And again, in my mind, the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. I didn't say he's the most prolific winner I've ever seen, but he is absolutely the most talented quarterback. Him and Peyton Manning, to me, are definitely the most talented quarterbacks I've seen the last 30 years. Maybe 35 years, really. But for him to elevate the Jets the way he did in that answer, he couldn't pass up an opportunity to play for the New York Jets. Usually people can't pass on an opportunity to insult the New York Jets, to take shots at the New York Jets. Rodgers is lifting this franchise up. You remember when Zach Wilson got drafted? And Robert Saleh said, you don't have to lift up, we're going to lift you up. You can make, yeah, you can, I know, insert your own joke. Well, in this case, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be lifting up the Jets, but he's capable of it, and he embraces that opportunity. Quote number 2. I want to be part of a team that has high expectations and isn't okay with mediocrity. You know, one of the biggest things I hear from Jets fans, and I think they're actually pretty close to correct on this. For too long, the team has been okay with getting to mediocrity. You know, they have not always gone the extra mile to bring in the best players, you know, to bring in the best coaches. I mean, look at the last, 2 coaches they hired before Saleh. Look at all the first-time GMs that they've hired. You know, GMs who did not have any experience and really taking a chance that they were finding their guy. But you didn't really have established leaders, guys who would come in and be a commanding presence. When you trade what you've traded to get Aaron Rodgers, when you trade these draft picks, these premium draft picks, and, it is an absolute signal that this is a team that is going in to win over the next 2 to 3 years, however long he may be here. You don't bring in Aaron Rodgers just to make the playoffs. You don't bring in Aaron Rodgers to finally get over 500 for the first time since, in 10 years? 8 years probably it's been now since the Jets have been over 500. No, you bring Aaron Rodgers because you want to be the best damn football team in the NFL. So not being content with mediocrity. Thank God. All right, let's go to quote number 3. They definitely gave up some picks for me to be here, so this isn't like a one and done in my mind. I think the biggest concern Jets fans had was not Rodgers' talent, not even his age, not his personality, but how committed is he to being a New York Jet? Is it worth it to give up premium draft picks for a player who may only be here for 1 year? Are we going to be back in the exact same position this time next year that we are now? Are we going to be turning the keys to the car back over to Zach Wilson, God forbid, next year? Well, the fact that Rodgers recognizes the commitment the Jets were willing to make for him and the sacrifices the Jets were willing to make to bring him in. Now, he didn't come out and say, I'm going to be playing for multiple years. We still haven't heard, as of this recording, the details of the contract. But the fact that he said this is not a one and done in my mind tells me he's going to be here for a couple of years. And when you give up these premium assets, you better get multiple years from Aaron Rodgers. All right, quote number 4. I expect to be here for the duration of the offseason. This one was a little bit more surprising because with Green Bay, he skipped a lot of the voluntary workouts, things like that. But you can tell through this quote how committed Rodgers is going to be to making this offense work. He's going to be working with Garrett Wilson, with Alan Lazard. He already knows him pretty well, but Corey Davis, McCole Hardman, Denzel Mims, Ty Conklin, C.J. Uzomah, Jerry Rucker, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Bam Knight. The names go on and on and on. That's not even getting into the offensive line. We don't even know who those guys are going to be. I suspect, between now and the weekend, you'll see maybe 2 new offensive linemen added to this roster. Just my thought as far as that goes. But he's going to be here, and he is going to do all he can to make it work. I love that commitment from somebody who, let's be honest, doesn't necessarily have to give it because he's just that damn good of a quarterback. Okay? I love it. And finally, number 5, and this is what it all comes down to. That Super Bowl trophy was looking a little lonely. And that's what it's all about, really. I hate the phrase Super Bowl or bust. I really don't like it because if that's the case, it's like, well, all right, you won the championship. That's what you were supposed to do. To me, you've got to enjoy the ride, and the New York Jets have not been legitimate Super Bowl contenders since 2010 or 2011. It's been a long stinking time since it wasn't just hope, okay, but there was confidence. There's a big difference between hope and confidence. My life as a sports fan for 35 years, of times that I can remember, are hoping for the best and expecting the worst. That is 95% of what I do. It is very rare that I have realistic expectations that my team can contend for a championship. The New York Jets with this roster can contend for the AFC East Division title. The Jets can contend for the AFC Championship. And I dare say the Jets could definitely contend for this year's Super Bowl. I am not making predictions yet. I'm not making guarantees yet. But I love that Aaron Rodgers, who talks a lot about individual accomplishments, he talks about his MVPs and things like that, but it hasn't been very often that I've heard him talk about Super Bowls and championships and what that would mean. But he really talked about that in the press conference. He knows Joe Namath. He knows the story of the guarantee. He knows the history of this franchise. He loves football history. And he knows what it would mean to me, to every Jets fan out there, to everybody associated with the New York Jets, what it would mean to put a second Lombardi trophy next to the one for Super Bowl III. And what a day it would be. What a ride it's going to be for however long it lasts. So my thing is, the New York Jets have been waiting a long time to be truly relevant, to be a big deal, to be a contender. We all know the deal. 12 years without the playoffs, the longest streak in professional sports. Now, the expectations went from here to here in one day. Bring on September. I can't freaking wait. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll be doing some videos as well today on both the Knicks and the Rangers. Make sure you check those out. I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.